Dear graduands, ladies and gentlemen, kindly rise as we welcome members of the BAC Education Teaching Faculty, followed by Mr. Rajasingham. Graduands, ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. Mr. Rajasingham, Managing Director of Brickfields Asia College, Mr. Murali Kandasamy, CEO of Brickfields Asia College, Mr. Andrew Kalish, Chief Legal Officer, Brickfields Asia College, Ms. Anandi Dureraj, Principal and CEO of BAC College Singapore, members of our teaching faculty, family members, friends, relatives, and you, the graduating class of 2022, welcome to the BAC Convocation ceremony. My name is Anne-Marie Lewis, and it is an absolute pleasure to be your MC for today. So dear graduands, today we are celebrating you, your accomplishments and your achievements. Today marks a big transition, a new chapter in your life. Today is the conclusion of an educational journey and the commencement of a new one. Today indeed is a milestone and one of many that will pave your future. Today signifies the culmination of all your hard work in the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Knowledge that will empower you, knowledge that will enable you to embrace all opportunities, take on challenges with a clearer vision, and live life with a full sense of purpose. And celebrating this milestone with you today are your parents, family, loved ones, some of whom are here today to witness your success. And to start the event proper, I now invite Mr. Rajasingham, Managing Director of Brickfields Asia College, to address the room.
Good morning, fellow academics, parents, students. It's a joy to be here in our own building for the, finally we get to actually have convocation in-house, so to speak. This building was built during the pandemic, and you all are pandemic graduates. You went through an experience that students in the last 100 over years, or 200 years, it's a totally different experience. I know you're the pandemic baby, so to speak. I mean, not in the sense of at least your law degree. Truly very proud of each and every one of you. And I'm sure I speak for all teachers who are here, that how proud they are of how you all stepped up, how you all did your best, how you persevered, and got through it. Okay, but I'm going to tell you all some things to tell you that this is but the beginning. A lot of real work lies ahead. Okay, so before I start anyway, I want to welcome all parents who are here. There are actually a lot of people sitting in the upper deck. It's a 2-deck hall. And thanks so much for trusting us with your children, those of you here as well. And will all students give a huge round of applause for their parents and teachers. I think we can do better. Actually, sometimes children don't realize how much parents give up, how much they sacrifice, how much they do so that you can actually have a better life than them. And every single parent out here actually goes that extra mile, you know, skip things on what they could spend on themselves to make sure you get the best. And for that, I think all of us are thankful to our parents. And other than that, in college, your parents are your teachers. They are the makeshift parents that you get when you come to school, be it physical or on Zoom. They try to do their best to nurture you, to guide you, to teach you. And I'm very, very happy that at BAC, you know, we have some of the best teachers around. So, you know, I really thank each and every one of them for the wonderful work they've done, those on stage and off stage here today, in helping nurture our next generation of lawyers, but more importantly, of Malaysians. So thank you for that. Now, having said that, the good morning, I just want to leave you with some lessons that I've learned in the last 30 over years of working, and some things which I wish I had known when I was a bit younger. So maybe a bit late for me, some of these things, never too late, but I hope that some of these things will help you. The first thing is, I think we all, you know, we're born, we live, we die. It's as simple as that. It's as simple. Every one of us, we're born, we live, we die. The only certainty is death at the end of the day. But the question is not just to live, but for us to be the best versions of ourselves. So whenever you're doing something, whether you're going to be alive for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, a person may die 30 years but had done wonderful things in that short span. What I want you to do is this: find your purpose in life, okay? And if you have some problems finding what that purpose is, just be the best version of yourself. You owe that to yourself. You have been given this wonderful gift, a life. You owe it to yourself to make sure that you are the best version of yourself. Okay, so please make that promise to yourself. It's for you. Okay? Now, the second thing is values. I think it's very important for people to have a sense of values and certain values which are their moral compass in life, which will guide you throughout life. Now, you can go and Google values and you'll find, 300 things will turn up. Pick 5 or 6 that resonate with you. I'm going to share what mine are, okay, and what we try to embed into whatever we do at the school. The first one, for you, once you have graduated, somebody will do the CLP, some will do the bar, some will go on to work. But the first thing is professionalism. In each and everything that you do, you have to have a sense of being a professional. You have to do it right. So you cannot, if you enter the working life and you just do things just for the sake of doing it, but without injecting your heart and soul into it, without making sure that it's done correctly, done right, you will never move fast. So the first value I want you all to have, especially as you're entering your working life, is to have a sense of being a professional. The second one is to take accountability. You be accountable, to take ownership of everything. So if you're being given a task by your boss, whoever it is in the near future, you have to take ownership. And if you do it, and if you do something wrong, or you get it wrong, or whatever, just say, I apologize, and try and correct it. So to me, taking ownership is important in anything you do. So do something, start to finish. If it's wrong, take ownership. One of the problems we've had sometimes, I think, I don't want to go into politics, is people making tons of mistakes, but not taking ownership. So you have to be, be accountable. Third one is integrity. I think integrity is crucial in everything we do. So work with honor, work with integrity. The fourth is tenacity. Tenacity is, life will throw you a lot of challenges. And sometimes, I like to tell people, follow your dream, do what you want, etc. But when you're thrown out there, there's sometimes when you're starting your career, you'll be doing things which, photocopying or simple stuff, making coffee for the boss, Sometimes somebody will say, but it's not anything. But some guys, people don't understand that all these things are just part and parcel. Like, you just feel happy, like, oh, I went and did a law degree, and then the guy asked me to photocopy something for him. I'm not a photocopy boy. But we all start somewhere. When I started the college with Mira, Miss Mira, I was 24. We did everything. We washed the toilets, we did the photocopying, we cleaned, we swept, we did every single thing. I even did renovations, fixing partitions. We had to do everything from A to Z. So I want you all to understand that while you have a degree, it does not mean that you won't be doing some work that you may not like. But in the course of your day, there will be things you love to do. It's just like, having to eat your vegetables. So just do understand that part of it. And tenacity, is going down and having that thing to fight back. The recent elections, Anwar Ibrahim is a classic example, from DPM to a prisoner and a fight back to end up being Prime Minister again. It's 25 years of hard, of pushing to come back where it is. It took a lot of tenacity. So I think every one of us needs to have some level of tenacity in order to fight back. I myself had my own journeys to fight back in the 90s when I lost all my money during the currency crisis. We had set up one of the biggest IT companies, technology-based, and we lost a lot of money when the ringgit fell from 250 to 30 million ringgit in 12 days, and I was 29 years old. But tenacity brought us back to where we are today. So not giving up, pushing ahead, and you need to develop that. Life will throw you challenges, life will throw you curveballs, but at the end of the day, if you work hard, work smart, you can get through anything. The next one is empathy. There is a need to have empathy and kindness for others. Now, first, you look after yourselves, you make sure you're okay, but you can help others. And nobody is saying that, you got to go and do big things or massive things. Helping others could be helping a neighbor's kid who's poor in math to get through his exams, or, offering to teach at an orphanage, or helping, feed the homeless. You could just organize simple things. You could do very, very simple things, or you could plan. So it's crucial that there is some level of empathy, because no matter how bad you think your situation is, your problem might be, I don't have the latest iPhone, or I'm still on iPhone 12 and there's already 14 is out. It's not a huge problem. There are people out there with no food. So to me, go out there and always demonstrate empathy for others. And lastly, gratitude. Gratitude and being humble are two more things, but gratitude. Now, what do I mean by gratitude? It's being happy with what you have. It's being thankful. It's counting your blessings. A lot of us have a lot, but we don't realize it. So I'm trying to say, if you want to be happy, it's not about, chasing money or being more, affluent or having tons of stuff. That's not happiness. Happiness ultimately is about acceptance. Accepting what you have and being happy with what you have, rather than being unhappy with what you don't have and chasing that. It's endless. You'll be like that hamster on that wheel going round and round. So a lot of the times I tell people, be happy. I'm not saying just be happy wherever you are and do nothing, because I'm also about ambition, purpose, about drive, about creating impact. But what I'm trying to say is, don't be unhappy about the wrong things, okay? And humility. No matter who we are, no matter how high you think you have reached, no matter how great you are, or I'm the Prime Minister, or I'm the President of this, or I'm the judge at the apex, whatever it is, bear in mind what I said in the beginning. We're born, we live, we die. It is better to live a life that leaves a great legacy behind, and to be humble, because at the end of the day, whoever we are, we can be struck, you could be knocked by a car, you could suffer illness, you could lose a family member, anything could happen to us. So humility at all times is great. There are tons of people who at one point were somebody and then suddenly had a stroke, or something happened, or they got ill, and then they realized too late that life isn't, as they thought. And a lot of people, when you are somebody, they all hang around you. When you're no one, they disappear, except for your family. So I want you to remember, always be humble. I get very annoyed when I go to restaurants sometimes with people and they're rude to the people who are serving. They throw their weight. I want to see the manager. I want to do this. I get very annoyed. And I normally then tend to quietly just stay away. I get annoyed, not for anything. I get upset because each and every one of us is equal. There is none of us who is above others or more important or whatever. We do things when we need to get our work done, but that's it. So always be humble. Okay, wherever you're out there, doesn't mean if you have a degree or a master's or a PhD, you're smarter, wiser, cleverer than anyone out there. We all have different skills. So please remember that. Now, we talked about purpose and values. I now want to touch on what's called relevance. The biggest challenge that's facing each and every one of us in this room, every one of us in this planet, is this. The world is changing faster than ever before. In the old days, you could go study a law degree for 3 years or study a medical degree or an accounting degree and then be assured that, oh, fine, 30, 40 years, what I learned, I'm secure. I'll be a lawyer for 40 years and then I'll retire when I'm 60 or 70 or whatever the case may be. It's not the case anymore. There's a huge convergence. The Industrial Revolution, the 4.0, IR 4.0 is here. That's one. 10, there's automation. There's a huge merging of fields. So fields like law, business, technology, a lot of it is merging. And the idea of relevance is not just about individuals, it's countries. Countries that were once superpowers, empires, are no longer relevant as they were. It's companies. Companies like Blockbuster have closed. Kodak, the largest film company, Blockbuster, the largest video rental company, all replaced. Blockbuster by Netflix. And then now you've got Disney Plus, and you've got Amazon Prime, and all of these things. You've got Kodak to the digital, they just didn't see digital coming in, and iPhones sort of, and phones replacing, whether it's a Samsung or an iPhone or whatever it is. A lot of giant companies, like Thomas Cook, the largest travel company in the world, 100 years old, shut down. But it's the same thing. And even if so countries, companies, people, your life cycle of a company, which used to be about 100 years, 50 years before, they're now down to 10 to 15 years. So like people at Alibaba, what they say is their goal is to be around for 100 years. What I want to tell you is this. While you have achieved your degree, learning is just starting. Lifelong learning, continuously improving yourself. Look at new fields, legal technology. Look at areas like ESG, environmental, social governance. That's going to be huge. Companies are going to need people, and law graduates are placed in the best position to take these jobs, as long as you do the required reading, learning. So you've all got to figure out, because I am sorry, I apologize for this, you live in a different world from the world I lived in. When we graduated 30 years ago, things were a little bit easier. You got lots of things that we didn't have. You have TikTok, for example, and Facebook and Instagram and all these things, which take a lot of time away from work and life sometimes. But you've got these things, but you've also got this challenge that you are going to have to learn to become what I like to call like a polymath of sorts. That means become well-versed in different fields, pick up different things. So each of you, I want you to figure out, always ask yourself, how am I going to be relevant? We always have to figure out, what can you do that's going to be a generation better, so that employers will never want to let you go, so that you can build the companies of the future, so you can run the NGOs of the future. So look at it from that point. Ask yourself, what do I need to learn? How do I stay relevant? Now, how do you stay relevant? The best way is by learning. Okay, the simplest, best way is learning. Gandhi put it this way: live as if you'll die tomorrow, learn as if you'll live forever. And I enjoy learning. Honestly, if I could just sit down, on my phone, I've got everything from Masterclass to Blinkist to Get Abstract to LinkedIn Learning to Coursera to Skillshare. Every single thing is there. But the only thing lacking sometimes is time. When I get a little break somewhere, I try and read something. But all of you, you have to learn. Charles Tremendous Jones put it this way: the person you are today and 5 years from now depends on two things: the people you meet, the books you read. These are the two things. Okay, so meet people, learn from them. I meet a lot of people. I meet people from NGOs, I meet people on the street, and every time I learn new things from them. What are the problems they are facing? What are the things they could do to figure out what we can do? I meet people from academia, I meet our UK partners, I meet people in government, ministers, lots of different people, and every time that I interact with anyone, I'm trying to learn something. So do that. Learn from others, learn from reading, okay? And on relevance, okay, Darwin put it this way: it is not the most intelligent or the smartest of the species that will survive, but the one most adaptable to change. So I want you all to, human beings tend to resist change. You like the status quo, you don't want anything to change. And when something happens that's different, you're not happy. But we live in a world where, just a simple thing, from my younger days, we started off first with cartridges this size, then we had cassettes, then we had CDs, then we had MP3 players, and now everything's on the cloud. But every one of those things was doing the same thing. You guys are younger. The senior lawyers out there have less practice. You are the generation that is closer linked to technology, who should be able to go out there and look at things like Ross Intelligence, IBM Watson, AI, and see how these things can be utilized. So that's an aspect. Now, competencies. Your degree, you know, I mean, we all did the UL, the London External Degree, and it's assessed 100% by exams. But in college, we run a lot of sessions that have been run on things like drafting, skills, writing, and many times students don't attend a lot of these sessions because it's not part of the official curriculum and you don't get assessed. For a lot of y'all, learning is all about exams and certificates. The thing is, you can't do that. You've got to learn. And one of the things I need you all to do is start building competencies. So if you write down today, what can you do in terms of competency with this, like I can speak these languages, I can write in these languages, I can use PowerPoint or Word or Excel or whatever it is. I'm good at presentations. I can play a musical instrument like I play the guitar or the piano. You list out what are the competencies you have, and then look at what are the competencies you need in your job. The moment you start working, start looking, okay, maybe if I picked up another language, because I work with a lot of clients who are Chinese speaking, maybe I pick up Mandarin, might be good, or Cantonese, then go do that. If, for example, you're located, you are looking at an area where your nature of your job involves a lot of technology, you're working in a firm that does a lot of legal tech work, or a firm that does mergers and acquisitions, then go get a greater understanding of how companies work. Maybe look at doing something in corporate governance or that area. But please understand, the future is all about competencies. I give a simple example. We've now put in project management into our UKT syllabus. They do it, and I think you guys might do it under MPU subject, some of y'all. Then they do a comedy project. The reason we included project management is this. Project management is not just for engineers and building large buildings. Project management is a great skill for lawyers to have, because every time you start a case, you look at that case as a project, from start to finish. Then you can see whether it's successful, depending, you've collected, you've won the case, lost the case, collected your fees, everything. So a lot of principles can be used there. And in order to give students that access, like LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Skillshare, now with this year Skillshare, all these things have been available to you all. But what I find is, unless we force it and add it into the curriculum as part of the marks like we've done for the UK transfer or now the other degrees or the MBA, students don't do as much. There's a population of about 10% of students who really do it without compulsion. But no, you got to learn for the sake of getting that knowledge, for the sake of improving yourself, because you're learning for yourself. You're not learning for anybody else. And you're not learning to get the certificate. That shouldn't be throughout the criteria. Now, we come to brand. Another important aspect is each and every one of us is a brand. I'm a brand, they are a brand, all here, you, parents, each and everyone. When you think of a brand, you think of companies like Apple or Amazon or Microsoft or these giants, Mercedes or Coca-Cola. You think of them as a brand. Yes, they are brands. But you and I are also brands. And that brand, you got to decide what you want that brand to stand for. Remember, I talked about having purpose, being the best version of yourself, and also having values. So you got to decide what features do you want your brand to have. And every single time you go out there and interact with people, whether face-to-face or online, every time you're out there, whether it's online on your social media pages, or whether you are having a conversation with someone, that's your brand in action. When you go for an interview for a job, your brand in action. When you're working, when you turn up at court, your brand. And people make they have their own opinion of your brand. They will come to their own judgments about you as a brand. So what I'm saying is, build your brand, your personal brand, and you protect that brand. I mean, you can see it here in a large scale with our politicians. With our politicians, for example, because they are the ones that we see the most of, or actors, or movie stars. I mean, like the Will Smith, what happened at the Oscars, okay? I mean, he's a brand. And for years, he built that brand. People knew that brand. And it just took one act, one moment, and he lost so much value that he had built with that brand. You'll see people like Kanye West, all of these things. They are on a bigger spectrum. But what you don't realize is it's the same with you. So when you go out there and say things on social media, when you go out there and post things, your future employers will be looking at it. The public, some people say, oh, but I didn't think it was a private page, only 20 people. Someone take a screenshot and share it. So be very careful about what you write. I don't write anything about anybody at all, because I don't see the point. Because to me, what I'm saying is that time. Sometimes it's so bad when a football player doesn't score a goal, and then he gets death threats from people who want to kill him because he didn't score the goal. I mean, oh, you've let down the whole country, we're going to come to your house and kill you and your family. I'm like, how can there be so much hatred? So when you write things, sometimes in that heat of the moment, in anger, this thing, but always look at things positively. Remember, your brand is your most important asset. At the end of the day, your brand is your most important asset. Giving back. Yes, you're just starting and you have to look at yourself first, but do look at and see how are you going to be able to do something to give back. And a lot of people, because I actually sit as a judge before in a lot of these entrepreneurs, they have these young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs competitions, and I sit as a chief judge in some of these competitions. And one of the criteria where they give 20% or 15% is for a CSR, community work. How have you given back? And for a lot of them, it's quite odd, because they'll come there, they say, yes, we plan to give back, but we haven't started yet. We're looking at it, and then we haven't done anything yet. Or we're going to do it. And, there's this sort of thing that people always think that I'll give back at some point in the future, I'm ready, but after 30 years, then they're still not. But what is good to see is the young generation. A lot of y'all do come out, do things. When we did the flood relief, we had a lot of student volunteers who came and helped. When now we've got these Orang Asli schools, there are students who actually come in, young lawyers who are coming in to go and help on Saturdays to volunteer and so on. But you've got to see, no one's asking you to do something fantastic. You may just have to allocate 2 hours of a week or 1 hour a week to do something that goes back. And today, with some of y'all, while some of you may end up in legal practice and may do things, I'm actually hoping some of y'all end up in the NGO sector. Because end up in the NGO sector in order to help. May not make you such money, maybe you want to build your career first, but some of you all will go there, because today with technology, it's a great leveler. You can set up, I'll give a simple example. For us, within the BAC group, we have a thing called Give Back. We have two. One is the Make It Right movement, we have the Uplift. These two entities. During the pandemic, we managed to help 500,000 people. That's us together with our students, our staff, our friends. We managed to reach out to 500,000 people. Food aid to 200,000 in the form of food baskets or food packs with rice, potatoes, garlic, the 13 items, which last them about 2 weeks. When things were really bad during the pandemic, the Bandera Putih. The Bandera Putih time as well, we sent out food within 48 hours, I think, to 5,000 families. That was, that things that were going out. But none of this would have been possible without the great people we have, staff and students. I know about 90 staff who are actually calling out, people to check zones, to give out and send out food. And we have a core team of a few people who do things that people, that are wonderful, and it's so heartwarming to see. But y'all can do these things. Just maybe on a Saturday, or 2 hours, or 3 hours, go up and volunteer with these Orang Asli children who can't read or write when they're like 13 years, 14 years old. So these are kind of things that you can do, because do understand, don't expect the government to be able to do these things. They're there for 5 years, and while they're there, all they have is the other side complaining and stopping them from doing even if something was good. The unfortunate thing is everybody wants to win the election, and then the question is everyone stops them. So they need help. So we should work together with the government, look at trying to see what we can do, and you've got your degree now, and you've got that ability to to solve problems, to make decisions, so to think critically, to find solutions. So that's one way you can actually use these things. So please do. And then it's about balance, trying to see, finally, is don't get too excited and work, work, work until you just fall down. Okay? Enjoy life. Work hard, play hard. Okay? So you work hard, you play hard. Just enjoy what you do. And don't be so competitive. You don't have to be the best at everything. So like for me, I enjoy games like, say, football or badminton, but I know I'm not great at it, but I have fun playing. I enjoy playing music, have fun playing. If you try to be the best at everything, then life becomes just too complicated. So pick your area. If you want to excel in that area, be the best at that. Okay? Now, few other things I've got to just tell you all. It's been a challenging 2 years. And when this building was being built, because this cost us 120 million, it's an 18-story building. I mean, the auditorium, there's a nice banquet hall upstairs, which is not ready yet. It'll be ready in January, so in future, we can have lots of functions. I plan to call all you all back for alumni dinners and parties and so on. And we have signed up actually with Microsoft, IBM, AWS, Alibaba, and others. These companies are actually coming in with us, and we're setting up their training, the computer studios, design studios, all of that is happening here in this building. And I urge you to come in, because legal technology is going to be one of the biggest things. Startups is going to be a huge area for lawyers. ESG is going to be a huge area. It's going to be, every company is going to have ESG issues. Even yesterday, Sultan Nazrin from PERA actually wanted to know what are Malaysian companies doing about ESG. Climate change is going to be a huge area. All of these things are areas that you as law students should be looking at, should be exploring to see, how am I going to get into that area? Just start reading. Generally, you can start reading. We'll have courses, we'll have seminars, we'll have lots of things going on. But nothing stops you from picking up a book and reading, or going online and doing some research on the UN SDGs, on climate change, on COP26, COP27. I mean, all of these things, what actually the issues are. So I urge you to look at that. This is actually a gold standard green building. So in that sense, under the green building standards, this is actually a gold standard green building. What it means is we have to pay a little bit more initially to get certain things done, but over the years, we get back some tax allowances, and we get that money back over 10 or 20 years or whatever. But we made a conscious decision to make it a green building. It's one of the first ones in Malaysia. The next thing is, I just want to say, during the pandemic, a lot of things changed, but we actually introduced a lot of new things. One is the global faculty, which is now going into its third year, where we've got faculty from like Ewan McKendrick from Oxford, Martin Dixon from Cambridge, the whole bunch of lecturers, 18 of them, actually. Emma from Northumbria doing evidence. This is one of the good things from the pandemic, I felt, because it was us thinking to say, like, what could we do that's different? We also have Coursera. And now with Coursera, you've got things embedded there like Wharton, business skills, the business foundation program from Wharton. You've got skills from Yale, the law students toolkit. You've got Stanford. You've got Johns Hopkins. You've got Duke. Even London has got. Now we've actually put it into the year 1, year 2 for the UK transfer for some of these things. But these are things you should be looking at. How can I get micro-credentials from some of these Ivy League universities or top universities, and how do I study, and how do I improve myself, and how do I make sure I'm going to stay relevant? LinkedIn Learning is another great example for people who are working. So all of these things, I need you all to look. I'm super elated you have graduated. I know your parents, you are all happy that you have graduated, and you need this. But what I'm trying to say is, learning never stops. Learning never stops. Until you die, it never stops. You keep learning, and if the more you learn, okay, the more you will be able to handle things. I actually feel that I enjoy the most if I go somewhere and you throw me in a bookshop, I can be there for like 10 hours. Now the great thing is because you have so much available electronically with your e-books and so on, it's there. But what I find with a lot of the younger generation is, I've got my degree, I'm done. I know everything. You know, we don't, none of us know. There is so much to know these days. The millions of new pages that come out every day is tremendous. So try and be, be multi-skilled, be multidisciplinary. Okay, having said that, I also want to explain some of the award things that happened. BAC won the ASEAN Award for CSR, community work, for the 5 times, and this year we're given a Cambodia Special Award because Cambodia is the ASEAN chair, again for the work that we're doing to help marginalized communities. We have things like for inclusivity, and if any of you all want to get involved in these programs, I'll be more than delighted to hook you all up with the people looking after. Inclusivity is a program where we actually get people, children who have autism, Downs, adults, and get them jobs in places like McDonald's, Costa, Axiata, companies, even ourselves. So that is a very nice thing to do. You have a great sense of fulfillment because it's, for a lot of these parents, sometimes they worry that if they have a child and if they pass on, who's going to look after the child? So for us, the idea of training, this is done on the 6th floor, the Make It Right movement, they do that. We have these Orang Asli schools, Changkat Bintang, Kampung Serigala, these are some of the schools where we're looking for volunteers. So these are the things. When we win all these awards for CSR, it's actually, or when people recognize outside, say, how do you all help 500,000 people? Let me make one thing very clear. It's not me. I'm not the one who's doing, I can't do much. But it's actually the team of people. We have capacity. We have space. We have technology. But most importantly, we have wonderful people in BAC and as friends of BAC. And these people during the floods, we collected in 10 days 500 over 1,000. And we had 500 volunteers going out to Sri Muda, Kampong Tengah, all of these places to clean, to do this kind of work. And to me, if we built an army, we have 6,000 students. If we built an army with your 6,000 students and your families, there's no end to what we can actually achieve. And your friends, there's no end to what we can achieve. Actually, Malaysia is in trouble. I'll have to tell you, we are in trouble. Last week I had meetings with foreign countries who say that they don't want to set up here because they can't find graduates with the skills. I've now actually sit down and say, let's see how we can actually get those skills done for what they need. If you want the international multinationals to come in, we need to get the skills right. We need to get our business environment right. We need to get our rules and things right. And I'm actually sitting down with some, I am sitting in the ASEAN Business Advisory Council. We're now sitting down and trying to get these things fixed. Because we live in the best country in the world. There's no natural disasters. We are multilingual. We are between India and China, 2 superpowers. We are part of the Commonwealth. We are an Islamic country. If you look at all of this, we are English-speaking, resources, rich in natural resources, and we have so much. But too much of fighting and politicking has been taking place. But now, I think the scene is just nice for all of us to come in and turn things around. So that, I think, is something that I ask you all. You all step up and say, okay, how can we help, achieve what we need to? Now, the thing on close here, I'm supposed to make some announcements. On the University of London, the first thing is this modular structure has really thrown us off. I think about 200 students didn't take the exams in May. They've moved to November and the following May. Because you now can take 2 papers, 3 papers, whatever, we will have, I think there are another 100 or 80 students who took the November exams, or another 100 over people who are actually taking the final papers next May. So there's suddenly this fluidity that the class seems to be taking longer compared to, we don't know the number of graduates and so on. And because we have our own space this year, we have multiple, yesterday we had a graduation, today we have a graduation, next Saturday we have a graduation for Reliance. There are multiple graduation ceremonies. Okay, but what I want to ask you, to let you all know is this. you have learned, you have got your degree, that's your passport to get to the next stage, okay? But to make the most of it. Go out there. I know you can change the world. I know I have full confidence in you. Because you know why? I go out every day and I see a lot of people, and a lot of law firms come and say, hey, most of my guys I'm hiring are from your school. I got a lot of BAC graduates. Quite a lot of them are partners in my space, in our space. And they speak highly. They say, we actually are very impressed with your graduates. We are very happy with them. I always feel that we can do better. I always feel just because they're happy doesn't mean, we're fine, we accept it, we're happy, it's fine. But I know what each and every one of you is capable of if you put your minds to it, okay? So you carry the hopes of your family. You carry the hopes of this school, this college. You carry the hopes of this country. You are the future, So I just want you to go out and make the best, be the best version of yourself. Hold your heads up high. Be proud, but be humble at the same time. Okay? And I'll give you my phone number. I think every one of you should have it because every correspondence during the pandemic had it at the footnote. It's 017. Parents may not have it. 017 500 6778. 017 500 6778. Always keep in touch. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't mean if we don't call you or we don't send you an email or what, we've forgotten. But we are there. We like to say this, with your BAC, you're backed for life, okay? So you're a BAC student for the rest of your life, a graduate and alumni for the rest of your life. So even if it's 10 years from now, call. I have students who call me, okay? So that's the thing. I want to thank, before we end, there are 2-3 announcements. One is this year, we had a record-breaking 110 first-class degrees. The CLP this year, to the last exam, 86.6% of the nationwide passes were BAC students. That's almost 9 out of every 10 students, 86.6%, which is a record for us. CLP, like LLB, though we had our convocations before this for the law degrees, they had 2019, 20, and 21, the 3 years together because of the pandemic. The 2022 students just sat for the exam. But because of the pandemic, the 2019, 2020, and 2021, all 3 years were held at one convocation a few months ago, and there were 18 prizes given. One for the top student of the year, and 5 prizes for the book prizes, for the best student in each subject. Of the 18 prizes, BAC students won all 18. So it's a... Because we couldn't announce it, only thing we knew is like for the top students we had, because when they were like 3 in the top class to get the top class, all were our students. So we knew the top student had to be ours, but we just didn't know which one of the 3. So we'll just say top students, 3 of the top students. But because of the pandemic, instead of having a convo every year, they had one after 3 years. And for us, we were elated to see that all 18 prize winners were ours. And even at the convo, there were people there coming up and talking to us, judges, lawyers, and saying that how proud they were. I was at a function a few days ago. They said, you guys are doing a great job at the school. You have got great students, and they're so happy. And lastly, I want to thank the Convocation Committee who are seated all over the place, from Anne, who's MC, Ranjani, Brandon, Mithila was there, Sam, Murali, who helped them a lot, and Firhad, Luke, Mu, all, Khalida, Rachel, all of whom are running around, doing a lot of the work. Nashran, who's there with the cameras, that's why we've kept these rows free, doing a lot of work in the background. Arvind, the maintenance crew. A lot of people work in the background to get these things. We just take it for granted. A big round of applause for them. Lastly, I just want to say, may God bless each and every one of you throughout your lives. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Rajan, for that very inspiring speech. So keep in mind, find your true purpose in life. No matter how high you soar, always stay grounded and be humble. Develop an attitude for gratitude. Stay relevant through continuous learning. And always remember that you are your own brand. We now have come to the highlight of this ceremony, the moment you have all been waiting for. So remember the very first day you stepped into college, just out of high school, young, very uncertain, unsure of what the future may hold. So as you walk up stage today to receive your scrolls, look back to that very first day you stepped into college, take pride in how far you've come, and have faith in how far you can go. Trust and believe in yourselves, just as how your parents, family, and friends, and all your lecturers do. And today, they are beaming with pride because they had the privilege to watch you grow into the person you have become. And I'm sure they all can't wait to see what's next for you. I now invite Mr. Rajasingham to hand out the scrolls. Celebrating our students from the School of Law, graduating from University of London, Aaron Teo Kai Lun, Adam Su Kwang Lei, Agnes Tay Ying Ying, Ainur Amalin binti Muhammad Azizul, Aisha Muniandi, Aishwarya Ashlyn Surendra Stephen, Alamanda Alia binti Khairul Niza, Annabelle Lee Chia Zing, Ashley Chu Manteng, Brandon Ashley Gilbert, Caris Tam Shu Yan, Chai Wei Swan, Chan Wei Liang, Chan Wing Yan, Che CK, Xia Ying Shuang, Chi Juni, Chok Winnie, Chu Wenyi, Chia Swong Ling, Chiao Chin Man, Chin Jenny, Chin Mei Lee, Chin Zinde, Cheong Wei Ni, Chu Wen Liang, Cynthia Ang Zin En, Darshan Kavalesh Sugwamaran, Deepashini Kanagaraja, Elena Huang Ui Yiling, Pei Chi, Gabriel Gelang Anak Francis Makam, Go Jiamin, Hema Rubini Pushparaja, Hani Suraya Idrus, Hema Malini Parameswaran, Hong Shui Hao Wenjun, Irene Wong Oiling, Isaac Vijay Alphonse, J. Jayaraj S. Jaya Balatilagam, Jackvinjit Singh Sarjit Singh, Jevistri Mutusami, Joanne Ang Su Fern, Jonathan Nagaya, Kate Yong Wing Kei, He Yisen, Ketiswari Ramachandran, Ko Kia Heng, Komala Mohana Sundram, Hu Chi Hao, Hu Vinyu, Kimberly Wong Wenjie, Kishan Raj Krishna Kumar, Ko Manya, Kong Winkit, Kwan Wei Chian, Lam Shin Yin, Lau Jialong, Lau Bin Yen, Lau Yizwan, Layal Ali, Lee Marsha, Lee Mengjun, Lee Rochi, Lee Wanchi, Lee Shui-er, Lee Shui-rui, Lee Yok-meng, Laverne Chan, Lu Junman, Lian Ziling, Libana Danny, Liu Chiamin, Lim Chi Yet, Lim Chip Liang, Lim Hock Hao, Lim Jia En, Lim Jie Zuen, Lim Zi En, Loh Pei Jun, Lu Xianzi, Mahadevan Santirahasan, Maninder Pal Singh, Max Ng Ziu Bin, Michelle Emmy Chiang Zihi, Michelle Wong Jialin, Muhammad Ryan, Muhammad Taib bin Muhammad Johan, Naga Durga Vijaya Kumar, Nadia Kazlina Muhammad Kamil, Nandini Devi Manimaran, Nazarene Yvonne Simon, Natasha J. Paul Panu, Niveta Tinagar, Nyo Hui, Ng Jia En, Ng Junwai, Ng Zifeng, Ng Wei En, Nisha Lakshmi Gunasegaran, Farhana Farah binti Muhammad Hoshairi, Nurul Nabila binti Anwar, Ong Ser En, Philomena Wong Ching Lu, Rachel Hon Win Hui, Rian Wong Li An, Rishana Ravichandar, Ryan Prakash Kwal Rajamani, Sabrina Joanne Woodville, Sai Jia Siang, Samantha Niam Bao Er, Si Yen Kwan, Sivu Ganesh Sekarasan, Shalini Magender, Sharini Sundranadan, Sharlini Sujit Kumar, Simran Kaur Dillon, Siti Khairunisa binti Ahmad Rafzi, Sun Si Wei, Sri Prasanna Nair Kavilan, Tan Hui Sin, Tan Jingyi, Tan Ka Chuan, Harshini Kesavan, Divya Krishnan, Q Chen Yong, To Xiao Yan, Tong Yi Yuan, Sai Ka Vui, Wan Muhammad Rahmatullah bin Wan Abdul Rahman, Winnie Lau Yung Chen, Wong Zeng Tian, Yap Chun Siang, and finally Yi Wei En. Thank you, Mr. Rajasingham. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and giving a rousing applause to the graduating class of 2022. With all formalities done, we have now come to the end of this ceremony. But before we bid you farewell, it's only fair that we once again acknowledge the team behind this event today who put this event together. So let's give them all a round of applause. Dear graduates, today it's not the end, it's just the beginning. The world is at your feet, and wherever you go, go with all your heart. So before you join your family and friends to celebrate, please do remain seated after the event for a group photo. And let me end this afternoon with a quote by the late Chadwick Boseman. Whatever you choose for a career path, always remember that the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. Members of our teaching faculty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in celebrating the graduating class of 2022 today. It has been an absolute pleasure to be your MC. Have a pleasant day ahead and a safe journey home. So congratulations once again, class of 2022, on your well-deserved success. So graduates, ladies and gentlemen, kindly stand as our academics leave the hall. Congratulations once again, class of 2022, on your well-deserved success.